Tice,
Hello, howdy. How do you do? Wait, what?
Sorry. Can you record two just in case it fucks up on my end again?
Yeah, did you give me permission?
I will right now. Okay, you're good.
But all right. Hello, howdy. How do you do? Welcome back to Lunch Table Sports. Dilly, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you, Tice?
Trev, how you doing?
Very good. And yourself?
Doing well. Bush,
Doing good.
Dimaj, I know you're
Fucking
doing great. Saya, how we doing?
I'm chilling, man.
Dimaj,
All right,
turn your
all the
light
boys
on,
doing
bro.
good.
I cannot see you.
DiMaggio sitting in the shadow, lurking in the shadows over there,
Just like
like the grimy Celtics fan he is. No,
hey,
I didn't
hey,
do that.
say what you want. Say what you want. I'm happy as hell right now, but
Well, perfect intro. Speaking of them Boston Celtics, they have successfully completed the sweep over the Brooklyn Nets. Goodbye, KD.
Cool, golf
Goodbye,
clap.
Kyrie. Yeah, shout out.
you love
I
to
think
see
most of us had the Celtics winning that series, but
Yeah,
most of us
Except
had it in
for
like 6 or 7.
I didn't.
So
it was
the
definitely
biggest
going to seven.
surprise of the playoffs by far, but these playoffs are off to quite the hot start. I guess we'll start with that series. I mean, all 4 of these games were incredibly close. All came down to the end, except for like maybe game 3. Kind of.
Yeah, game 3 was game 2 was probably the biggest point differential.
Okay, yeah, game 2. But yeah, I think the average margin of victory for the Celtics was like 4 games, or I mean 4 points through the 4 games.
The total of points that they won by was only a total of 17.
Yeah,
which
is insane.
Which is about 4 points.
No game was
about
more
4
than
points.
a 7-point difference. I
Oh,
heard.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was just a great series, honestly. The whole thing. I mean, there wasn't a time where you're watching that game and didn't lose interest. Like every single game, every time, like it was just a very exciting series. And the fact that it lasted only 4 games is probably the most surprising factor. Is that the Nets had so many opportunities to win those games, especially in the first game.
yeah.
That I think it just proves how important the Celtics defense is, because in that last series, their defense is the factor that made it happen. So honestly,
Yeah.
I'm very excited. Celtics fan. I don't care who we play in the next round. It's going to be a great series as always. Hopefully it's the Bucks, because I'm trying to talk shit to you, Tice. But honestly, it's gonna be a great time. I'm really excited.
Speaking of the Bucks, Bush, how you feeling? Your Bulls are down big to the Bucks. You know, gotta win. You have to win. Gotta win 3 in a row to move on.
If you remember what I said when we first started talking about these playoff matchups, all I wanted to do was take one from them. We took one from them, and it wasn't even in Chicago. It was in Milwaukee, so I'm more than okay with it.
Yeah, hey, I'll give it to you. Stole game 2 from us in Milwaukee. Games 1 and 2, I would say the Bucks looked a little out of rhythm in both of them. And then game 2, we started to get back into it, and Chris Middleton was getting hot. He'd hit like 3 or 4 threes in a row, and then he goes down with the sprained MCL, and that's a tough blow. He's going to be out for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Hopefully we could get him back mid to late Boston series, depending on how that goes. But games 3 and 4, I've been very impressed, especially with Grayson Allen coming off the bench. I mean, he's the backup 2 behind Chris Middleton, and he's come in, stepped up into a bigger role with Chris Middleton being gone, and really impressed me. I mean, I think he had like 24, 25 in game 3 and then 27 in game 4. So, I mean, coming off the bench, getting that kind of production out of him is definitely going to come in handy come Celtics series. And I'm thinking that the Bucks take care of it at home in game 5 here tomorrow night, or tonight when this video comes out, and we can get a little bit of rest in before the Boston series. But
I mean, it also doesn't help that, again, Lonzo's out, been out for the whole series. I mean, it doesn't help our offensive production and even our defensive production, just being able to stop the one, or even Lonzo being able to stop the 2. And then I believe yesterday or today officially Zach LaVine was ruled and he was put underneath COVID precautions. So I believe it's his fourth instance of being in the COVID precautions this year already. So
That's
got that long COVID.
along with what you were saying, Tice, I'm in the exact same position as you, except obviously the Suns don't have that 2 cushion lead. You know, it's obviously series is tied, but I think we can all agree that it will be harder for the Suns to pull it off, but we all can say that they will, as long as our bench can play like the regular season bench and Chris Paul continues his clutch performance in the fourth, unlike last game. But like same thing with what you're saying. Yeah, right. Well, I mean, same thing with what you were saying, Tice. I mean, the series isn't over yet, and Buck's already been out almost a week already. So he still got a week or 2 with recovery. So that puts him at least missing the first 2 games of the second round, you know. So but I mean, playing the Mavs most likely in the second round, you know, is scary. The way Luka's been playing, Finney Smith is going off, you know.
Jalen Brunson,
Jalen Brunson averaging 30 points a game, you know. I mean, and Tim Hardaway, I don't know, is Tim Hardaway coming back soon?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not.
Because if he is, I
would think so.
If he is, that's another problem. Spencer Dinwiddie is. Who the fuck is Spencer Dinwiddie these playoffs? I mean, dude's posterizing 7-foot guys out here. I mean, with the last name Dinwiddie. I mean, come on.
No, I do want to say about the Suns. I'm a little disappointed in Chris Paul.
100%.
You know, game 4.
Me too.
Talk about laying an egg. I mean, 4 points.
Yeah,
it's just
100%.
Obviously he's never really been the true like score first guy. But on that same note, in recent memory, he's proven that he can be that guy. I mean, last year in the Western Finals, didn't he have like a 40-something point game?
He did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's got to step up. 4 points is unacceptable from like the true number 2, arguably even the number 1 on that team. Not scoring option, but just like, you know, he's the locker room leader. He's the maestro of the offense. It's just, you got to get more out of a guy like that, especially in a tied up series against your former team at that too. I mean, it's time for Chris Paul to wake up a little bit here. I believe this game is back in Phoenix, game 5, right, tonight? Game
5, yep, in Phoenix. And another thing,
crucial game.
Shout out to Willie Green. I mean, the shit he's doing. I mean, he went to the finals with the Suns last year. You know, he was coaching Chris Paul, coaching Devin Booker, all that. You know, he dipped to, you know, coach his own team, and look at him now. I think by this time next year, Willie Green will be a nomination for Coach of the Year. He's, I mean, granted they started 1-12. That's fucking incredible. You know, starting the season 1-12 and making the playoffs. You know, I mean, they blew through 2 teams, including the Clippers, in the play-in. You know.
Well, I mean, just look at the Pelicans in general. I mean, this team is in a competitive series right now with like pretty undisputably the best roster in the NBA, and they're missing their superstar. I mean, this team kind of reminds me a lot of the bubble Suns. You know, they were a team that was like really starting to find their rhythm and their groove, like as a team. And then that offseason, the Suns go and add Chris Paul, and they're playing in the finals the next year. I think this Pelicans team take this offseason, get Zion fully back and healthy, and carry this momentum into next year. The Pelicans are definitely a contender in the West, in my opinion.
Especially with the full season with CJ McCollum. Because if you guys saw, so CJ McCollum played 10 less games in the regular season with the Pelicans, and he's averaging 4 more points. He's averaging like 6 more minutes. His field goal percentage was up by like 3%. So the Pelicans, you know, playing a full season for the Pelicans with CJ McCollum will put him in the All-Star game. It will give the Pelicans, you know, a top 6 seed so where they don't have to play in the play-in. And if I mean, Jonas Valanciunas is all right, but I feel like they could go out and get potentially, you know, a better, you know, no, fuck that. Fuck Jackson Hayes, okay? They can go out and get a fucking forward in free agency to replace his dumb ass. Because That dude is a straight bitch. I mean, you can't be in the NBA and like expect to like get shit talking to you and like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna get shit talked, but you can't fucking go out and blindside fools like that. Oh my god, dude! I wish Jay Crowder would just turn around and right hook his dumb ass so hard because I would, if I was a fan there, I would have charged the court and tackled him so fucking quick. You know, you know what I'm saying?
That move definitely was softer
shit.
than baby shit.
Yeah. Had a little temper tantrum.
Just a little bit.
Well, while we're still on these Suns Pelicans series, I want to give some credit to Herb Jones. Herb Jones was arguably the best defending rookie since the All-Star break.
Full blocks.
And he is having the spotlight shown on him and taking every chance possible to really lock down this Suns team, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Was it midway through the third quarter or towards the end of the third quarter? He takes a steal off the inbound pass, takes it for 6 right to the hoop. Like what rookie is doing that in the playoffs currently?
I mean, fucking his chameleon looking ass, bro, had like 3 of his 4 blocks in the fourth quarter in like the last 6 minutes. If you guys look at the replay, dude starts his jump at least 7 feet away from the fucking shooter, and he's still getting his fingers on it, including one against Mikal Bridges, who has like a fucking 10-foot wingspan. You know?
That's what I'm saying, man.
I don't understand it.
Impressive. Herb Jones is a great fit next to Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, and potentially what could be Zion Williamson. And
same with Jose Alvarado, as we all know. Jose Alvarado is on the come up. You know, he earned himself a 4-year deal after signing a however many day contract, you know. So
those are just a very young team. I think it was very like Ty said, it's just very similar situation to the Bubble Suns. Very young team starting to get it together. And I feel like, remember when we were having that conversation about Chris Paul or Devin Booker, which one's more important to the Suns right now? I'm really holding true to Devin Booker right now. Like the team looks so sporadic, does not look the same at all. Even when they lost Chris Paul in the regular season, there was a small tweak that they had to make, and they looked right back into it. Right now, they kind of look lost without Devin Booker.
The Suns had a better record in the regular season without Chris Paul than they did without Devin Booker. And Devin Booker in game 2, when he did get hurt, he had 31 points when he left the game, and it was at halftime, and he still led the whole game in points. You know, he was the top scorer in the whole game, and he left at halftime. I mean, you don't fucking drop 30 points in the first half. You just can't do that. That's just like asinine, you know. It sucks. It sucks that we couldn't win game 2 when your best player fucking scored half of your points in the first half.
Yeah.
You know, it's it goes to show. It goes to show. I was watching First Take the other day, and obviously I talked to you guys about this, about Chris Russo calling Chris Paul not transcendent, but you know, obviously just being a Suns fan, you know, you don't like any of these reporters talking shit about your team, so you're obviously gonna get, you know, whatever. But he did point out he did throw out a good point. I mean, if you think about it, no one has won with a true point guard. Chris Paul is gonna turn 38 next month, and he has no rings. John Stockton, no rings, right? Steve Nash, no rings. Jason Kidd has a ring, but he got it at 38, which is like, oh hey, Chris Paul's turning 38, maybe he'll get his ring. But you know, point being said, Chris Paul dropping 19 points in the fourth quarter, having 30 in that game, 13 assists, and then the next game, you know, Chris Paul has over 50 assists and only like 3 turnovers this series. I mean, that's some pretty that's a crazy ass stat.
Yeah.
But the points needs to come more points. We need more points out of him, or else it's not going to be a good series. Because Cam Johnson, 6 man of the year nomination, isn't shooting too hot.
Yeah.
You know, DA's doing good. Like I said before, JaVale McGee's 20 for 21 from the field in the series. So, and shout out to JaVale.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, some other first round series going on right now. The Raptors have quietly made it a series against Philly, rattling off two in a row.
Heading back in
I told you
Toronto.
guys. I told you guys.
That is going to be very interesting to see. Yeah, a little game 6 in Toronto.
I've got a feeling this series goes 7, and with the way that teams are playing, I would not be surprised if the Raptors won this, honestly, because you got the Rookie of the Year in Scotty Barnes, you got an All NBA power forward in Pascal Siakam, you got some great surrounding shooters in Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent, OG Anunoby, and then as a team, they play solid defense, which is the exact thing that the Sixers can't handle, which is solid defense.
Yeah. It's been very interesting to see that series. Embiid's been playing well, but if he's not on the game, it's like how you guys talked about KD and Kyrie. If they're not on their game every single night, they have no chance. They have no chance. And the few nights that Embiid has lacked a little bit is when the Raptors just take over and make it a game and have won those games.
And James Harden's not doing great either, you know?
James Harden looks like a regular ass player.
Exactly.
He does not look like a superstar.
When you're doing that to one of the top 3 shooters easily in the game, you know, you got something going for you. And heading back home with the momentum they have is insane. That's why tonight, this video, I mean, the game will be over by the time this video comes out, but like tonight, if the Suns go into New Orleans down 3-2, I'm going to be scared because the energy in the fucking Smoothie King Center the other night was insane. I mean, like I said, Jose Alvarado, again, he's getting less than 15 minutes a game, and the whole stadium is chanting his name. I mean, it sucks, you know. It really sucks being in this position. You know, you expect so much more from teams like the Suns against teams like the Pelicans, but
I think I'm gonna go.
That's the playoffs, baby.
To say that
exactly
that James Harden is no longer an elite player. I think he's a great player. By all means, he's great. He's great offensively. He can run an offense. He knows how to score, draw his own fouls. But the things that made him elite in Houston and in Brooklyn, his elite first step, his elite explosiveness with the basketball in his hands are gone. We see none of those anymore. And the best way for him to hide it was to get to a defensive team where they slow down the pace in the 76ers.
Yeah. It's been a crazy series. And I mean, as long as Harden's not playing to a Harden level, I think genuinely the Raptors are going to win. Because Embiid is feeling all the pressure right now to carry that team. He's feeling all the pressure. Harden's being a facilitator, but Embiid, when he got Harden, was expecting another like top level scorer, and Harden's not showing that he is that right now.
Yeah.
But honestly, the Heat right now, the Heat have been impressing the hell out of me.
Let me. Okay, I'm just gonna be biased just because I'm a Heat fan. But personally, I think that Jimmy Butler is playing like either the best or second best player in the playoffs. The only person I will give the other half of the credit to is Jason Tatum.
That's literally exactly how I was. It's like 1A, 1B. Those are the 2 best players. The next one underneath them is Brandon Ingram. Those are the 3 best players right now in the playoffs.
And I just want to give you a quick little stat read of what Jimmy Butler has been doing from the regular season to the playoffs, because playoffs, we all know the playoffs are a different type of game. They're a different animal. You got to understand how to play in the playoffs. I'll tell you that Jimmy Butler has added an extra 9.5 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, has decreased his turnovers by 1.5. He's shooting 6% better. He's shooting 21.5% better from 3.
21.
No more Jimmy can't shoot. And he's also taking about 3 a game. No more Jimmy can't shoot. Jimmy shoots when he wants to shoot.
I think the most impressive thing about this whole series is how bad they're making Trey look. Trey, we had the conversation about where Trey ranks because we were arguing about Luka and Jason, and I wasn't really high on Trey. Trey looks awful. Absolutely
that dude.
Awful.
Yes.
And this defense, that it's the worst. I feel like the worst team that Trey could have played was the Heat, because no matter where he goes, the 1 through 5 can cover him. 1 through 5 can cover him. It is terrifying, and he is freaking the hell out right now because he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know if he can't drive because he's tiny. He can't shoot because all the perimeter defenders are bigger than him and just as fast. It's.
I'll say that Trae Young came out and said that he hasn't been consistently guarded like this as far as the defense since high school.
Yeah.
That's essentially saying that the toughest time he's had to score the ball was high school, and now in his third or fourth season in the NBA.
I mean, there's nothing, and that was and the last game was with Kyle Lowry out on top of it.
Yeah, and Jimmy Butler is currently not playing in Game 5, and we're still up 12.
And yeah, I'm not surprised about that. Like the fact that if it wasn't for one lucky floater from Trey to end that game, it would have been the other sweep. Those were the 2 sweeps easily. And it just sucks. I feel like the Heat, I mean, I'm a little biased, obviously, because of the Celtics, but the Heat are a very scary team. Those are the 2 teams. I know they're the 1 and 2 seeds, so obviously they deserve the respect due. But they genuinely look like the 1 and 2 seed right now. They are the 2 best teams of the East. No disrespect to the Bucks, but I don't know. I genuinely, the Bucks aren't as terrifying right now, especially with Chris Middleton. I know Grayson's looking good, but without Middleton and another All-Star on that roster, yeah, the Heat and the Celtics really do look like the best 2 teams.
Stop right now and put some respect on Drew Holiday's name.
Drew Holiday's great. He's a great player, phenomenal defender. I don't know. The Heat, if I wasn't a Celtics fan, I would genuinely be saying the Heat are the best team in the East right now, and they're the 1 seed for a reason. They might be they're looking like the best team in the NBA right now. Like
that's the difference between the East and the West. You know, the top 2 teams in the East are looking like it. The top 2 teams in the West aren't.
Yeah, genuinely.
You know, the Grizzlies are struggling in this series, and they have everybody.
I think the thing is, when you look at the Grizzlies, yes, they won a lot of games in the regular season, but they're not the most efficient team. They play better without Ja on the floor, which sounds stupid, but the plus or minus without Ja is higher than with him on the floor. Ja brings an explosive element to the game. He's a great player, no disrespect to him. Just with him on the floor and how things are playing out, the Grizzlies do not look like how they looked in the regular season. The Timberwolves have every answer right now for the Grizzlies. And Ja's points in the paint, which is where he was killing in the regular season, are down significantly. It's just the paint presence that the Grizzlies are facing right now is scary for them. And I don't think they know how to react right now.
Yeah.
Especially what's coming out of Pat Bev too.
Excuse me.
That's true.
I mean, I didn't expect to see this out of Pat Bev. I mean,
that's a dog. Every playoff, you watch whatever team Pat Beverly's on, you watch the playoffs, and you know he's going to be fucking somebody up.
He's kind of like Jay Crowder in a sense, because they're not like prime scorers. You know, you're not going to get many double-digit point games out of either Jay Crowder or Pat Bev, but the mentality and the energy they bring, they're just the guys that you want in the locker room and on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of that series, that game is currently going on right now while we're filming, and the Wolves are up 49-46 with 3 minutes until halftime. So
the Bulls are
another close game.
No,
he ended the second half on a 26-8 run. So
the Timberwolves are up.
Timberwolves are up.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be
Indeed.
surprised if they won that series. The Timberwolves are looking, honestly, they look like the better team. They look like the better team. I know the
They're
Grizzlies
just
have a great
the
regular season.
Timberwolves are a team that has, I would say, a little more veteran leadership, even though
Yeah.
no, they have more veteran leadership. You know, D'Lo's played in a couple playoff series himself. Cat's been
Those Cat.
in one. Cat's been in
Yeah.
one. Pat Bev's been all around the league with
Pat Bev's been everywhere.
with multiple teams in the playoffs. So they know how to handle themselves a little better in the playoffs than the Grizzlies do. The Grizzlies are just kind of hoping to keep winning, sustain the momentum that they're on currently, and to make it as far as they can go.
Yeah.
Well, if Minnesota pulls off this tonight, they'll go back to their home court for a potential elimination game. So could call this a must win for the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Trev, what do you think about this Luka Magic coming in this last game?
What you say? Luka,
How about that Luka Magic in game 4 last night? Or was it game 5 last night? Game 5? Yeah.
Game 5.
Game 5.
Luka's nice. That's all I can really say. He picked up right where we thought he'd pick up, you know. Just came out there and cooked.
33, 13, and 5. What a menace.
Yeah.
It looks like that Luka's injury did set them back, and this is why I think they dropped 2 games. But I think if Luka's healthy in this series, they might have just clean swept him or beat him in 5.
Yeah.
They would have.
For
And
sure.
that's why when we were talking about it, we were talking about how many games, like I had Mavs in 6 because when Luka comes back, it's Luka. Like he is genuinely that much better than everybody else on the floor. It's like he's not on LeBron's level, but it's similar to LeBron when he first came into the league on how dominant he was. It didn't matter what he had around him. If he was on the floor, he was the best player on the floor. And he was going to make it known. And Luka's doing the exact same thing. And that Mavs team just it has a lot of depth. Like, I'm surprised. I did not realize when he had this team that all their players around Luka are stepping up in this playoff series.
That's kind of what that trade between Kristaps Porzingis to get Spencer Dinwiddie really freed them up to do was look at their options rather than having to constantly have a play a big inside. They can go a little smaller now with Kleber at the 5 and Dorian Finney-Smith at the 4, which is proven to work clearly because Utah cannot stop anything outside the paint. I wonder why.
How many more seasons after this? I think we can all assume at this point that the Jazz are dead. Luka's back.
Yeah.
Luka's on. The Mavs are going to advance here. How many more seasons do you think the Jazz are going to keep on running this core of Gobert and Mitchell back before they decide it doesn't work? Because I don't think it's going to work.
D-Mitch is gone.
I think Gobert's gone. If I'm the Utah Jazz GM, I'm not letting go of Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell has proved he can be the top scorer on a playoff team. We saw it in the bubble. He had an amazing run, and even the playoffs. The year after that, he did the same thing and led them to the second round. But I think Gobert is. He restricts you in ways that most people probably don't understand on the basketball court. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
he's just not a capable enough scorer.
He's not a capable enough scorer. He's not a capable enough perimeter defender. If he's not inside the paint, there's no use for Rudy Gobert.
There's definitely a role that he could carve out for himself on a roster, but it's not as a number 2 option, starting center. I just he's very limited in what he can offer you, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Just
a complimentary piece. He's not supposed to be that guy. He's an amazing defender. I don't think any of us are doubting that. He's amazing in the paint. He's just he is not a number 2 guy. He's very similar. I know they don't play the same position, but Draymond Green, they're very similar players in the aspect of Draymond's just asked to play defense. They don't expect him to score too many points. They don't expect him to be that guy. They just need him to lock down whoever the hell is going to be on that court. And Rudy, in a system where they do not have an elite paint presence, but they have a lot of great shooters on the outside and a lot of great guards, he could go in and be that guy to lock down an area that I feel like if he went, and it's a stretch because they've been trying to acquire so many great players, but I feel like if he went to a team like the Nets that have just a very small roster and not a lot of great defenders inside, except for Claxton, who is a liability at the free throw line. Jesus.
Yeah, wow.
That was awful. But you
Set
there in along with that roster and maybe play Claxton more at a 4 and have Katie at a 3 and do whatever you want with the guards because you have 30 of them. That roster, I feel like Gobert could succeed there. I just do not think Utah Jazz have a need for him anymore. They need to go younger. They need to go athletic, and they need to go.
I completely agree that they need to go younger. Their second best scoring option is Jordan Clarkson. He's now entering like his 12th to 13th season in the NBA on his 10th team. They only got Joe Ingles and Bojan Bogdanovic, who are also getting up there in age. They're not a very
Ingles isn't on the Jazz anymore.
Oh, my bad. But they're not a very athletic team, and with that, I'd say that a part of the reason their defensive scheme doesn't really work is because with Rudy Gobert trying to man the center of the defense and be the sole paint protector, you need to have wings and guards that can force a dribble pickup on the penetration. You can't be allowing offensive players to penetrate the defense and get to Rudy Gobert so easily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you guys remember? I don't know how many years ago I first said it, but I stand by it. I think Rudy Gobert is the softest big in the entire league.
I agree.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
I do remember you saying that.
I will 100% stand by it. I don't think he's done anything to improve my visual on him. Is he a good defender? Yeah, but
well,
I'll
hey,
go as far as to say that he really shouldn't be mentioned in a lot of depoy talks.
Hold up. Sorry to interrupt. I gotta go to work. You boys finish it strong.
Yes, sir.
I will catch y'all next episode. So fucking go Suns, fuck Jackson Hayes, fuck the Pelicans, and let's get this series over with, huh?
Good luck to them Suns tonight, and good luck to you tonight, Dill.
Of course. Later, boys.
Today.
All right.